Welcome back to the coziest part of Solana's finest podcast, Sol Brothers, with my dear friend Eno and myself, Simon. Today we're going to talk about markets, prices, charts, and technical analysis. Let's do a little deep dive because, Eno, we might be back. It looks like it looks better than last time. It looks better on the charts. Did you take a glance at the prices?
I am regretting some choices, but also things can always go lower. So little sad that I didn't pick up anything at the dip. I was actually expecting it to go a little bit lower, but hey, happy for the markets in general, right, Simon?
Lower, even lower, my friend. The dip was dipping, but you might be right. Actually, there's still a chance for more dipping, and we're gonna start by looking at the charts here to make a little bit sense of this mess. So let's pull up my screen here. We're looking at the 1 hour Solana chart right now, and as you can see, it is heavily labeled here. That is me trying to make sense of all these wave counts, and together with you guys, we're going to try to figure out where we might be heading next. But at a first glance, if we just get rid of all these indicators, we can see that we're kind of going sideways. There's really strong resistance at this current level. We've been kind of stuck at $144. We broke through it a little bit, and this is a good sign, by the way, because we have a big impulse here. That is, everyone can see that. You don't need to be a TA expert. There's a big impulse, and then it has been also it broke through the 145. It broke through the kind of volume or liquidity spike here at 140, 139. And now we're consolidating, thinking where to turn next. But here's the bearish news. We might not be done with the downside here because the whole move here to the upside, like without going too far yet into the details, the whole move to the upside right now could be a fourth wave, right? So that fourth wave here has resistance between $156 and $205. And that is the whole area that we basically could see a turnaround to the downside again. So we're far from being safe, really. We would need many more confirmations here to the upside to be to have higher chances for an upside move. The first good sign, though, on the other hand, again, is that this 1, 2, 3, that is the impulse. 4, that's where we're right now. 5 structure looks like it's on the way to play out. That would conclude the C wave in orange here. So we have this A, B to the downside where we almost did a double bottom, right? Like with the previous low, where you were thinking maybe we go lower, but it was just a B wave. These B waves, they can even overshoot a little bit, right? It didn't. It got stopped before, and then it turned around in an impulse, which is also usually what happens after a B wave. The C wave is usually a 5-wave move structure, and that is playing out really nicely here. So the C wave resistance are right now between 146. We touched exactly on that level. That's the 100% extension of the ABC structure here, and 156. And that is basically right now the first resistance area that I'm looking for a turnaround. But again, we could also see the fourth wave shooting a bit higher than that. But yeah, it might take some time here to get more clarity on the chart. So in the immediate next steps, for everyone who's asking, well, where are we going next? This is pretty much it. We are currently in this micro ABC structure to finish the fifth wave here to the upside, right? So the third wave was the impulse that happened over the past couple of days since we recorded last time. And yeah, people were quite bullish about that pump, but obviously after this pump, the fourth wave is always a bit messy. So we see an A, a B, overshooting B wave. And now, right now, there's a high chance that we're tapping further into the support area down here between 134 and 139. So right now, I think the price might tap into this area here further. We could also technically go up from here, and that was the fourth wave because we did touch on the minimum support level here for fourth wave, right? Like the red resistance zone you see here, the fib levels are basically the fib levels between the third wave start and the third wave finish. And that is the fourth wave that is playing out right now. So we are right here in this area. I think we're going to see another pullback down here, and then maybe the push to the upside in a fifth wave to kind of complete this structure. And then we need to see. That's going to be next week when we record next time. We can probably have more knowledge about how this larger fourth wave here is really playing out. We're not in the safe zone yet. But on other news, one more little update here on another chart, which is the total crypto market cap excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. So excluding the two majors. We're looking at the total crypto market cap, which is currently sitting at $893 billion compared to its recent high at 1.18. That's where we got stopped out. And here I'm zoomed out in the daily chart. The wave count hints at another high, right? If that really plays out, we could either have the fourth wave in already, and we're right now in this next push to the upside. This could happen. There could also be another flush where the fourth wave here actually plays out in an A, B, C structure, with the C being lower as the A wave. So there would be quite another flush in the altcoin sector here, in the total crypto market cap. It is realistic. It's not my primary scenario though. Like I'm not really seeing it right now in the charts, and that's not only because this wave count already checks out, like we could go up from here, but it also is the case that Bitcoin is currently already tapped into this resistance zone here, and we don't need to go much further, right? Like than this. So it really, like right now, we're in a very important kind of part in the markets, because we're deciding pretty much between is the low in here and we're going up from here, or is this fourth wave, which is the same as the yellow fourth wave box for Solana, right? Up to $205. We're waiting for this area to be broken to the upside. If we break this to the upside, this red wave is going to be invalidated, the count, and we're going to break out to the upside immediately, instead doing another like this, right? Another. So these are the facts when it comes to the prices right now here on the charts. It stays interesting. I am cautiously bullish, but I'm right now out of the market again after this pump, because I'm expecting the price to potentially give us a little bit more fear again by breaking down lower. But I think there might be another nice entry soon, around here, around the $135, to catch the next wave up.
I guess one question I have is that the RSI that I'm seeing below, or is that something else?
Yeah, that's the RSI in the 1 hour chart. Yeah.
Man, that bounce is pretty significant, right? Like it touched and it obviously dipped a little bit below, and then the correction was very violently swinging upwards.
Yeah, that is what usually happens when there is enough after heavy dips, right, that we saw over the last couple of weeks. Investors are on the sideline, and we're all waiting. We're pretty much all waiting for the bounce. Some of us are waiting for the bounce to new all-time highs, and some of us are waiting for a corrective bounce before we crash lower, right? But everyone is waiting for a bounce, pretty like the whole market. So when that's the dynamic, then you can expect such violent moves to the upside, and this also reflects in the RSI, where we literally, you're right, we came from 20 heavily oversold, all the way up to 89. But keep in mind, the smaller the time frame, also the less relevant the RSI really is. Like if we're zooming out to the daily, it looks a bit softer here in the RSI. But it's a good candle, right? Like this one, in the daily chart, like the move from the bottom here. Like it is promising. It does look promising. It does look better than 5 days ago, when we were still kind of heavily rejected up here. Now I see a chance. I see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. It's kind of nuts, man. Just how much the day-to-day sentiment around how we're doing changes so drastically. Like even though like I feel like I'm a little bit less emotional because I don't really care about short-term price action all that much. Like I still do feel when the vibes are down, right? When the vibes are down, it's not a great feeling. So yeah, it's just it's interesting just how much sentiment can change and how quickly and randomly it feels.
Yeah, 100%.
Well,
That is right. And prices always move and they do their thing. And I'm a big fan of technical analysis because it usually tells us pretty accurately where price is moving. But then there's also a real world out there, right? There's a real world, there's fundamental news that are already playing into the facts as well. And I think it was an announcement fresh off the Air Force One yesterday on December 3rd, where Trump teased with a sentence of, "I know who I'm picking for Fed chair." So I think he has some ideas, of who to become the next Fed chair. And we touched on it before, but what am I talking about,
yeah, well, I mean, for those of you who have been living under a rock, the current Fed chair is Jerome Powell. He was with us during COVID. There's plenty of you might notice him from those money gun memes when he turned on the money printer to pay for a lot of the COVID stimulus that we got to, keep the economy going. But he's been at odds with Trump, hasn't he, Simon, for the last few years?
They're not best friends. Yeah, they're not best buddies. Like basically they have opposite world views. So I think Trump really wants a change, and he's really pushing for a new chair since a while now. Right now, culture odds are spiking at 80% for Kevin Hassett to jump in as the new chair.
So we're going to show you this little clip over here that we have of Donny Boy.
It's a great group.
Donny Boy.
And, I guess a potential Fed chair is here too. I don't know. Who's allowed to say that? Potential. He's a respected person, that I can tell you. Thank you, Kevin.
Oh my God, this man is such a meme. Fun times. I think chances are very high. I mean, that's what prediction markets are useful for, right? You look at the data there. Over 80% say Kevin Hassett because of this, right? Like, it's pretty obvious who Trump wants to put there. Trump himself, and I think also Hassett, they're both want to cut rates, right? Much more aggressively than what Powell is doing. I think we talked about Trump's golden age. He's very aggressive with the things he's saying right now. He really wants to have 1%, ideally 1% rates instead of right now 3 to 4% where we're sitting, which is insane. It's a big jump, right? But that's where he wants to go. While Powell is like, yeah, no, we're gonna cut maximum 25 bips now, and that's it. But I think we're gonna see it probably come to life, and we're going to see more rate cuts come to life, and that is going to help liquidity to flow into the markets as well. I think December are still 87% odds right now for 25% still, but I think after this and after Hassett really comes in and so on, we could really see further cuts that are bringing the Fed rate much lower, maybe not 1%, but closer to 2, I would say. And I think this will definitely bring more liquidity into the crypto market as well.
Yeah. Trump has had a pretty long history of picking people who are willing to do what he asks. Typically, there is a split between the White House and the Fed chair. And we do this for good reasons, because you don't want the president to look at political considerations, whether it be the next election or what's good for his party, when making decisions about fiscal policy, right? You want fiscal policy to live beyond the current president. But you look at Trump appointees all across, the American government, whether it be in the military or whether it be in the Supreme Court and now the Federal Reserve. He's very good at picking loyal people. And so the likelihood that we get a Fed chair who's willing to do crazy shit, like cut 3 points in a quarter, is quite high.
Yeah. Let's see how the next weeks go. But again, chances are high that this is also going to be good for crypto. What else is good for crypto?
What's also very good for crypto is the largest asset manager, I think about $8.7 trillion in assets under management. They're going to allow for crypto ETFs on its platform, and not just crypto ETF, but also mutual funds as well that are focused on crypto. Like, why do you think that's bullish for? I mean, like it seems pretty obvious, like why having the largest asset manager, allowing crypto ETFs onto their platform is bullish. But I mean, like, what does this mean? Simon.
I think first of all, it gives us credibility, like further and further. It is very strong signaling. I'm talking increasingly right now with older generations about crypto again for some secret project reasons, and these people are not yet onboarded to crypto, but are open now, right? And they haven't been in the past 5 years. It took literally 5 years of first hearing about crypto to thinking it's a scam to now arriving at the conclusion of, hey, the big boys are all here. They're all looking at it, right? And if Vanguard is going to allow crypto ETFs and crypto funds as the world's largest asset manager, and it is such a strong signaling. So I think actually that is the main story behind this for me. That will help us to just onboard many, many more people, important people with deep pockets into this ecosystem.
Yeah. But if we're talking about onboarding people with deep pockets, we're definitely not talking about the UK. That's a horrible British accent, but whatever.
Almost better than me.
Over in the UK, those poor fuckers now they have crypto classified legally as property. I don't know what it was classified as before, but essentially what that means is if you were to pass on crypto to your son, God forbid that you pass away as a UK citizen, then you are going to be taxed inheritance tax. And that tax is very, very high. I think that you were making some comments before the show that people are quite upset about this. What's your take?
I've seen a few negative comments on this. I think, like UK is not embracing crypto at all, and I see a lot of crypto people fleeing from the United Kingdom to seek crypto havens like Dubai and even Thailand now and other countries. People are not excited about the regulation they put in place. This is only one of the things that puts like pretty heavy taxation on crypto earnings. But they also implemented something very recently where they basically make exchanges report on all their users, and if you don't report on a user, you get fined, I think, $300 per user. Like they're really trying to have their hands on the pulse of what's happening and surveil this industry very heavily, which is definitely not, like, a lot of crypto people are not a fan of exactly that, right? They may want to maintain their privacy as much as possible, and they think they have, I mean, we do have our right to do private transactions as well, as much as possible, that are not exactly tied to our individuals, and they just want to make it all like super transparent, right? Too transparent, I think. And that's, I think UK probably not the place right now to be if you are holding a lot of crypto assets. That's my take.
Yeah, probably not. So Simon, that wraps up the coziest part of the podcast. Where can people find more of our stuff?
You should head over to Salt Brothers Pod on YouTube if you're not a follower yet of our YouTube account, because we do live stream as well, and most of our audience is on Twitter, where you also find us at Salt Brothers Pod. So make sure to just subscribe, follow everywhere, also on Instagram at Salt Brothers Pod, where we also push some of our short clips all the time. If you want to join some of these live streams, well, then have a look out for Mondays and Thursdays, because that's when we are actually live doing these things, and you're going to get the alpha firsthand. But if you want the polished version, head over to YouTube, drop a like, drop a comment, and we'll see you at the next one. That's a wrap. This is Soul Brothers with Simon and Eno, where it is our job to throw you into the Solana rabbit hole and show you around in our exciting ecosystem.
Our mission is to take you on the latest and greatest so that you never run out of fun things to talk about. Simon, you're drinking a coffee. How is the UAE?
I love it, honestly. I really like Dubai. And I've said it before, I'd say it again. And fuck all the haters, because there's a lot of hate on Dubai all the time. But if you're hating on Dubai, then it's your problem, because you're probably also hating on other places in the world. But the world is pretty beautiful, and every place can be nice if you make it nice. And I think Dubai has a lot of potential. So if you're coming with the wrong mindset, you're going to hate it. But if you're coming with the right mindset, you're going to like it. So if you're flying in here for Breakpoint or for Binance Week or for Abu Dhabi Finance Week or whatever the fuck you're going to do here, then make sure to have a very open mind, be nice to people, and not judgmental and not superficial. Because then I think you can really get the most out of it. I always feel good when I'm here. I don't know about you. I feel productive. I feel happy. I have energy.
That's the first time we ever met. So like the UAE always has a very special place in my heart.
Exactly. But this time we're going to meet in Abu Dhabi probably, because you're not going to come to Dubai, if I'm not mistaken. You're going to go straight to Abu Dhabi, right?
Yes, I'm going straight to Abu Dhabi. I forget. Did we go on that trip together to the mosque? They have that huge mosque. I don't know if we went together. If you went separately. I see.
Yeah, I don't think I've joined that one. But yeah, I'm pretty bullish on this year, on this ecosystem as well, on crypto in the UAE as well, and on Solana in the UAE, because Solana is fairly active here, led by Alex Scott from Super Team UAE. Yesterday, Akshay also came in again for Solana Economic Zone, talked about internet capital markets to a big audience in the office, and we could like ask some hands-on question to the man. They are, and even he says there is a big opportunity right now in UAE, not only for crypto, but in general for finance, because there's actually a lot of very interesting companies here with good, strong fundamentals, value investment companies, basically, that are in the UAE, but that can't be traded easily because they are in their own fucking stock exchange, and a lot of people don't know how to trade it. I wouldn't know where to start, honestly, how to trade these stocks. So if you want to get exposure to UAE market, really, all you can do is buy maybe an ETF that somehow captures value of companies here, right? As a US registered vehicle. But if we are bringing more and more assets on chain, I think we can make this experience much, much easier. And this shall be actually one of the things we're going to discuss today, because we can trade stocks since a while on chain, but now we can also trade them with leverage. So we get to that later today in the show. But before that, we're going to talk a little bit about some bullish numbers for Solana. So if you're not yet bullish on Sol, then stay here with us for the next couple of minutes, and we're going to tell you why you should. Plus, we have a bunch of announcements that we're going to dive into here, ranging from big corporations like Revolut, now supporting Solana payments, all the way to more ecosystem-related news like the Solana mobile token or Jupiter swaps that are too expensive. So we're going to talk about all these things, and then we're going to use today's episode as well to do some deep dive conversations about two main kind of topics that capture a lot of attention this week, which is Camino versus Jupiter. If you don't know what we're talking about, then stay around. And the Wet token launch by Humidifi, which already kicked off today in the morning, sold out already, and we might have some takes on that as well. Eno, shall we begin?
Yeah. So starting off with Solana by the numbers, we have some really interesting figures coming out just in the last couple of days. So the first thing that we'd love to cover is Solana's dominance for DEX volume over the last 5 months. We've been the winner consecutively for 5 months for DEX volume, right? So this month we're looking at over $100 billion traded on Solana. Now, don't get me wrong, like BSC and like Ethereum are posting like really good numbers. I mean, that's not too bad, right? Like 81 billion and 75 billion. But yeah, I don't know. It's really nice that our DeFi ecosystem is doing so well.
And it's only going up, right? You know, like I really don't see it. I don't see the bear case right now for things like this, for Solana protocol revenue, for Solana trading volumes and so on. I don't see it. Like, it is pretty new that we're trading assets like Monad, which is a completely different chain, on Solana with a higher volume than on Sexes, right? It's a new phenomenon. So let's say this happens more and more now. It's only gonna bring more trading volume, right? That's only one thing. So I really think that the whole push to internet capital markets as a narrative this year was super smart, right? Like in terms of not only in terms of the narrative, because people get it, but also in terms of the focus. It actually makes a lot of sense for Solana.
Yeah. It also helps that like we have more competition in the aggregator space, right? So like you and I are huge fans of Jupiter, and we have massive respect to Meow, Xiong, Cash, and the entire team. But like competition is good, man. I want to see more folks competing for swap volume.
Yeah, I mean, we're sorry, guys. We're sorry, Jupe team, but it is what it is. It's an open market, and you gotta you gotta fight to survive. We all have to fight, right? There's a lot of good
Yeah.
podcasts out there, but we got to do our best job to be better than them. And Titan is definitely, they're serious about what the fuck they're doing, and it's working really well. And that's only one. It's only one of them, one of the competition, right? Like even Camino with swaps tried to break into that market a little bit, but that's not the strength of Camino. But yeah, we do like competition, and we do like numbers going up in the Solana ecosystem. What else is going up?
Right, they do have Camino swap. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, yeah, I know. I mean, some people use them. I think their swap volume has increased definitely week on week.
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay. I might be.
Yeah, I mean, I just haven't heard a lot about Camino swap recently. But good point. I forgot about them.
I mean,
in terms of ETF news, what do you think about this, Simon? We had record-breaking inflows just last week. So last week we had like $100 million dollars in inflows into Solana spot ETFs, and the winner was Bitwise, BSOL. So they had $83 million in inflows. They more than any other ETF. They're absolutely killing it.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be one of the reasons why Solana is not done pumping, because these things are new on chain, guys. Like, don't forget that. Like, we didn't have ETFs 2 months ago. Like, they all came in the last 4 weeks to be like really, really live. And now look at these numbers. Like, what is this? This is daily inflows, right? Daily inflows of $80 million. And it might be peanuts in TradFi terms. I don't even think so. Compared to, because we're really strong compared to other ETFs. We get a lot of attention right now. So yeah, and Bitwise definitely on a big streak here. I think they smashed a 21-day inflow streak with like constantly overperforming the others. I think by now early December, they pulled in $574 million in cumulative. How much do you have there? Yeah, 527. Yeah, in cumulative inflows, which is it's a good number. It's $500 million, right? Definitely, there's been some outflows. I think the only outflows we had were in late November when the dump happened, right?
Yeah.
There was a little bit of outflows happening, but overall things are going good. We are going up. We are right now at $140 Solana. The ETFs are still buying. Institutions are still buying. I think we can go higher.
What's going on with 21 shares here, dude? It's like they lost 34 million in the last week. Like, what's going on there? Do you think that maybe some big whale pulled out capital and then put it into Bitwise?
Yeah, I actually don't know about the fee structures here of these guys. That is something to compare as well. I think plus you never know where these inflows exactly come from, and the strategies behind them. And they're all fairly new as well, right? But Bitwise is definitely the huge one here, and 21. I mean, Bitwise has more daily inflows than cumulative for 21. So I think they got some catching up to do here.
Yeah. Another piece of really bullish news in terms of like numbers on Solana. This is more protocol specific, this one. We're all big fans of OR, and damn, their 30-day revenue, $10 million in the last 30 days. And 100% of that revenue goes into buying back the OR token. I mean, look at the names on these lists, dude. It's like PancakeSwap, Ethereum, MetaMask, like they're outperforming big dogs. Like they're punching above their weight pretty hard.
Yep, 100%. And then, I mean, I'm just gonna look at this beautiful chart here, because it did definitely see some better days. If you want, you can pull up my screen real quick for people who are curious, because Aurum makes a lot of money, sure, $10 million. But where is it going? Because right now, this is the daily chart here. We didn't see great performance in the past week. Like we had a high, when was this year? 10th of November, 2025. We arrived at $600, and now we're all the way down at 115, which is a 81% drop in less than a month.
Yeah. Obviously there was a lot of hype going into their new release. So, the markets are going to do what they do, pump the shit out of the token. But I still think that the protocol has very strong fundamentals. They're continuing to earn very significant revenue. And so that all bodes pretty bullish.
It is bullish. Like, they are second to Pump Fun on a few days. They had days with more than $1 million in revenues in a day. The average daily revenue was 357 for the last month. And yeah, so this definitely it does fuel the buybacks. But yeah, buybacks are good to an extent, right? If done right. I think they only work in a very small scale, honestly. If you there's almost like a tipping point, right? And Jupiter's experienced something similar. There's like a tipping point where it doesn't really where it has like huge diminishing returns. So the more buybacks you do, it's not the more that your token's gonna pump. There's a sweet spot where you should do it, but then you should probably put that money to work somewhere else. But that is a philosophically and technically difficult thing to talk about, because this is how do we make tokens on Solana more valuable, and that definitely deserves not even one single episode. It deserves a whole series to talk about. So let's do this a different time and talk a little bit about how good the Solana tech is based on huge announcements we had during the past couple of days. You ready,
Yeah, the tech is good, my friend. And first off, we're going to have you start. Let's go.
Now we got Revolut supporting Solana payments. Revolut's integration enables 65 million users to send, receive, and stake Solana, USDC, and USDT on Solana directly in the app. 65 million users. The announcement highlights Solana's appeal to major fintechs, obviously, joining platforms like Visa, SoFi, Western Union in building on its high-performance network, emphasizing fast, low-cost global payments.
And in other news, Kalshi has raised $1 billion at an $11 billion valuation. Kalshi's $1 billion raise for its Series E at $11 billion is led by Paradigm with backers like Sequoia and A16Z. This has doubled its valuation in under 2 months. That's fucking insane. Kalshi achieved record trading volumes in the 2024 election, where it accurately priced Trump's win weeks in advance. The Kalshi team has overcome U.S. regulatory bans on prediction markets since 2018 and has evolved from a humble Y Combinator startup to a tool for millions betting on events like politics, weather, crypto, across all 50 states.
On other news, we do now have the tokenomics for the SKR token. The tokenomics for the SKR token just dropped. SKR is the native token for Solana mobile secret ecosystem, featuring a total supply of 10 billion tokens. Most notably, it has a 30% allocation only for airdrops to active users. So you might want to start using your secret phone. SKR is set to launch on January 2026. We do not know exactly which day, as the native asset powering device verification, de-app curation, and staking. Speaking of staking, SKR holders will be able to stake their tokens to earn more SKR, and the tokenomics are very similar to Solana. Like Solana, SKR has an inflation model. So the inflation starts at 10% in year one, decaying 25% annually to a 2% terminal rate in 6 years. SKR inflation will be used to reward stakers.
You might have noticed that you've been overpaying for Jupiter swaps, especially if you're using the Jupiter browser extension. And that's because you've been charged higher fees than usual. Browser extensions like Caribus and Pocket Universe, which are not affiliated with Jupiter Exchange, changed the parameters in Jupiter's browser extension to increase the fees to about 1%, so 95 bips. Caribus and Pocket Universe have clarified that the additional fees are disclosed to users during onboarding, but nonetheless, users were surprised by the extra fees, and it looks like a case of hiding important information in the fine print. I hate it when companies tell me, like, but it's in the terms and conditions. Fuck you.
Just gotta read it. Just gotta find it as well. But I got one more for you, DFDV has integrated Harmonic's open block building infrastructure. We did a little piece about Harmonic a while ago, and now DFDV is actually using them. The block space monetization wars are heating up. Running a validator is nowadays becoming less and less profitable. We do actually see a lot of validators closing shop there's increased competition for stake these days. So the upcoming Solana improvement document, SIMD 411, also set to significantly reduce inflation rewards to validators. And that's why more and more companies are turning to monetizing block space to stay profitable. The two biggest competitors in the space are right now Jitos BAM and Temporal's Harmonic. BAM and Harmonic create a marketplace for Solana block builders, allowing validators to choose high-value candidates per slot, which enhances MEV opportunities without relying on single providers, effectively boosting their earnings, the validator earnings. DeFi Development Corp, DFDV, is the third largest Solana digital asset treasury, and it looks like Temporal has scored another point for Harmonic because DFDV announced integration of Harmonic's open block building tag into its validators to maximize revenue and MNAV for its shareholders.
Speaking of which, Simon, you have a validator. Have you picked a side?
I have not yet, actually. I have not yet. This is one of the topics that is still on our roadmap. So I'm open for suggestions. My DMs are open, guys. You can, convince me for whatever we shall use. But we haven't really. There's running validator Eno is quite complicated, as you know. There's a lot of things you need to take care of and respect. Right now, I am. There's two things that I'm more interested in right now, which is geographical location of the validator, basically decentralizing the ecosystem further by bringing it to somewhere else than USA, which is where it's currently. And secondly, joining the 00 ecosystem and running DZ on the validator, which we do right now already, but we want to also be in a country where we can use 00 infrastructure right there. So my plan is actually to bring the Solana validator to Bulgaria in the midterm. That would be great.
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys are based out of Utah right now, and in the interview that we did with Austin, he was telling us how the folks over at Rockaway X, actually they're from Prague. I didn't realize that, and so they worked with 00 to create a connection to Prague, and so now they're running a very profitable validator in Prague. Are you trying to do something similar for Bulgaria?
Yeah, so there's a company down there already. They set up their validator recently together with Foundation. Yeah. Big shout out to LimeChain. So we do already have a first validator now running Solana network validation in Bulgaria. And I'd like to join forces, have a second validator on the ground, and together with them see if we can get DZ00 to help us set something up down there. But I've heard it's quite capital intensive. The hardware, you need to have a network contributor, as they call it, which is basically the entity that provides the hardware to run 00, and that is quite costly. I think it goes in the $10,000 range to set it up. So that's why we need either support from 00 or a partner like LimeChain to help as a network contributor, and then we can run 00 from down there. Yep.
Yeah. Well, we're going to go into a new segment that we call Deep Dive. We're going to talk about some spicy issues, Simon, on Solana. We always love a little bit of drama on the timeline, and this is just going to be a very casual conversation where we try to describe, some disagreements on the timeline and what we think about them. So the first one that we're going to cover is Camino blacklisting Jupiter Lend refinancing. So going to share this tweet here.
Yeah.
It's code, but like, what do you see in this screenshot, man? It's like Jup R81YTYSS. It's clearly a Jupiter address, and it's it's in the restricted programs variable. So what's going on there, Simon?
Well, it is a company that is trying to not get vampire attacked. That's what's going on here. This is the TLDR of the whole discussion, expressed in actual code. But maybe we should layer in a little bit of context for people that have not followed the beginnings of it, right? Where's the problem really coming from? What happened here initially? Like, what is the core issue that it all started with? Which vampire attack am I referring to? Maybe that's a good way to start.
Yeah, I mean, this is fairly simple, right? So Jupiter Lend released a new feature called refinancing, right? And refinancing, just very simply, allowed you to migrate your position from Camino to Jupiter Lend. That's all it did, right? Like, you signed the transaction, and the position that you had, like, let's say it was like a looped SOL position, right? Well, a looped SOL position exists on both Camino Market and Jupiter Lend. I mean, it depends on the asset, but for most of them, like, yes, like it's available. So like if a user wanted to move their position from Camino to Jupeland, all they had to do was click a few buttons on Jupeland, and then they would be able to move their position.
Yeah.
This code, restricted programs, essentially, if you were to try to sign the transaction to migrate, it would just return an error because Camino would just not allow the transaction to go through.
Yeah. So what do you have to do? You have to go to Camino. It's a bit more manual effort. And basically close the position, open the position on Jupe. So you can obviously still, do it. Like no, Camino's not blocking withdrawals or something. They are not impacting the user really directly, but they are making the user experience for Jupiter users worse, essentially.
Well, technically, it's both, right? These users are sophisticated players who obviously understand how looping works, and they use both platforms, right? And like right here is a tweet by Bishal who kind of explains why this is an issue. Like, yes, you can unwind your position on Camino, but you're going to incur slippage while you do this, right? As you're unwinding your LST positions. And so it's not that you can't, migrate your position. It's just that you have to, first of all, it's time consuming and annoying, but more importantly, it's expensive, right? Did you see that tweet from retired Chad Dev?
No.
He had like 100, he was explaining like what the fees look like. And to be fair, this seems quite small for his position, but he had exposure to like $100 million Jupe Soul Loop, which is fucking nuts. And to unwind that position, he had to pay a $250,000, right? So, like, obviously, $100 million position and paying a $250,000 to unwind that is not that crazy, but still, it's painful, right? To pay those fees. So, a migration feature, allows you to move your position without having to do any of that shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it is more than a UX. It's actually much more than a UX improvement to have that feature. And it also seems to be quite common to do this, like to refinance, not only in crypto, like even in TradFi, you refinance your loans, and you do it also in different venues, right? And I think that's why people also got upset, because it's not common practice to block someone from this migration, really. And I don't know. It is a bit. Why did people get upset in a nutshell here about this? Is it attacking DeFi values?
There's like two different arguments here, right? Number one, the rates on Jupiter were much better, right? Like I think the looped positions were returning like 30%, whereas like the Camino positions were in the negative. It was like negative funding rate. So they were actually like losing money, from what I understand, and they were forced to stay in that position unless they were willing to unwind, incur the slippage, and then move over to Jupiter, right? So one of it is just like part of it is just like, the fuck, like there's a superior product, like why are you stopping me? But then the second has to do with kind of like the principles of like open finance, right? Which is much more philosophical, and like I guess some people, I mean, I'm strongly in favor. Not everybody really cares about the philosophy of open finance, but meaning that you compete on product and everything is permissionless, and as soon as you start doing shit like blacklisting your competitors, it's literally the opposite of permissionless. You are closing a DeFi activity simply because it doesn't
align with your company goals.
Yeah,
it's kind of
which just kind of feels very TradFi, right? Like this is very like, to be fair to Camino in TradFi, like they do everything possible to make it difficult for you to move your money. This is very common practice in the traditional finance world. But many of us in crypto are idealists. And so like, what we want is fuck your bottom line, fuck your TVL. We want you to allow anybody to move their money. Yeah, I don't know. It just feels weak. Feels like a weak move. And it created like way too much noise in the timeline. So I don't think it was worth. Yeah.
This is also a point, right? Because we have this echo chamber here where you scream into and it returns from every fucking corner, which is crypto Twitter. So it is, which is a good thing, because as a company you really have to be careful what moves you pull, because someone is going to see it and as soon as it gets potentially viral, it is going to go viral. And people are going to, if it's something controversial, right? And we see it over and over and over on the timeline. And in TradFi or in the traditional economy, I don't know if we have these echo chambers really, like where it's so easy to spread quickly a piece of news, right? So, and again, it's a good thing. Like that's why companies in crypto need to be especially careful to not pull any potentially unethical moves here. I don't really want to call this an unethical move. I am really not leaning toward any extreme here. I understand where Camino is coming from. I understand where the people that are against this move are coming from, that want to embrace money Legos, as we mentioned it when we created DeFi altogether, where you have permissionless building blocks that you can plug and play with and tap into. It's a great ethos, right? But I think we do have to be realists as well sometimes, and understand the fact that there are company interests as well, and these are not foundations and companies that are non-profits, right? Like Camino has a token. If you're a token holder of Camino and you screamed about this and complained, then yeah, that's probably that is a bit paradox, but yeah.
Yeah, it just feels very, I don't know, anti-competition.
Yeah, exactly. Like it feels weak. I think that was a very good point.
Yeah. And yeah, I'd love to talk to you a little bit more about kind of like the tone of the discussions that we're seeing on the timeline, right? Like, do you think that everything that we're seeing on the timeline, founders calling each other out, or sometimes not mentioning by name, but like Cash just tweeted yuck, right? Like he retweeted the situation and he just goes yuck.
Yeah.
Do you think that it's mostly civil right now? Do you care if it gets really nasty later? Like it's gotten nasty before with like McBrennan and retired Chad Dev and the Solana team. Like I think even Edgar at one point said, I don't know, maybe it wasn't Edgar, but someone was like, "I'll fuck you in the ass." It got really crazy. Like I'm literally I'm quoting here. So like, what do you think about like spicy founder squabbles?
Love it. I'm here for it. At the end, I'm actually serious. At the end of the day, you just gotta, and that is a rule for life, right? Don't be too serious about things, right? As long as no one dies and no one gets physically hurt and so on. I think we can all take the stick out of our butthole. I don't even know if that's something you say in English, but we have it saying in German.
Yeah, no, take the stick out your ass. Yeah, no, that's something we say in English. Yeah. Not butthole,
okay,
but
cool. Yeah, okay. Stock im Arsch. And yeah, so you can you can remove the stock in your arse and play the game. Just play the game. It's a game at the end of the day. Twitter is a game. Corporate is a game, right? Building companies and so on is a game, and you got to respect the rules, play by the rules, but also embrace all the there's also rules that are not nice, right? Like that you are allowed to scream and complain and fight each other a little bit. So I'm here for it. I think it's good for the ecosystem because it makes us talk about important things and call each other out, and it triggers our brain to think about important issues, right? And see a lot of controversial points as well. What do you think?
So my issue with the way that Solana founders beef is they have no riz. It's like literally zero riz. What would have been
what's riz?
Like it's not sexy. It's not attractive. They don't do it in a way that feels clever. It just feels like a lot of crying on the timeline, right? I know that's not what they're doing. Like, but they're really what they're saying is like, oh my god, this is so unfair, and it is unfair on a lot of levels, but. Like, what would have been way funnier on Jupiter's part is to stay silent about it, and then within 24 hours, like create this like Apple versus PC video, just completely roasting Camino for like it's like
risk. Yeah, we need more risk.
Yeah, I this is a petition to the Will OG. If you're watching this, I need you guys to create a video where it's all like Camino headquarters, and they're in a boardroom. And they're freaking out, about what to do. And they press the fucking button, which is to block Jupiter Lend. Something like this, right? Like that's funny, right? And I think that's how you how you respond to shitty situations is you completely wreck their reputation just by trolling the shit out of them, because then they just become known as the team that, like, oh, they can't compete, then they just like fucking reduce utility for their users, right? Like that's the only move that they have, is like to lock people into their platform. Like maybe that's the meme. You try that. That's how you try to meme Camino, is that you go like, you guys just like lock user funds. Now, don't disrespect to the Camino team. But yeah, I don't. I'm just saying, like, this is the type of like kind of riz that I want to see on the timeline. You know, I want people to stop crying and start being funny.
Yeah, be funny and creative and have a bit of do some witty jokes. Like, I totally agree. And we talked about this when Jupiter again was fighting Titan last time. So Jupiter it's fun to work at Jupiter, I believe, because they always got some shit going down. So Kash, bro, I don't want to be you right now, but you got it. You're like, you'll sort it out. He's fighting the good fight for the Jupe fam. Yeah. Anyways,
so yeah, the next deep dive that we want to do, or is there any other comments you want to make about Camino versus Jupiter Land?
No, I'm ready to get wet.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. So this next topic that we have, and it's the title of our podcast today, the Humidifi Wet Tge. And man, like this has been like a really interesting saga. I'm just gonna show a little chart here, and this is so fucking impressive. This is market share for proprietary AMMs. They do not trade on LP deposits or liquidity that is deposited by retail users. They just use their own capital. That's why they're called proprietary AMMs. And you know, there's been a lot of back and forth in the space. I was very ignorant to some of the things that were going on. Like, I remember looking at the volume charts and being like, "Who the fuck is Solfi? You know, who is Goonfi?" I'd never heard of these names before. But in the summertime, a new entrant entered the arena, Humidifi, and they have been kicking everyone's fucking ass. Like, if you look at their market share today for a prop AMM volume, it's almost like 60%, right? So they're like absolutely dominating and murdering every other prop AMM. And the amount of volume, I think, isn't like the majority of sold to USDC swaps like all done through Humidifi now, just like by volume.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
They quietly captured 35-40% of all Solana X volume since launching in May 2025.
Yeah, no, that's that's crazy, right? They did it in a very short period of time. And, you know, we earlier in this podcast, we were talking about Temporal and how they've released Harmonic, and that, you know, that's allows people to monetize their block space. Well, turns out Humidifi, because people didn't know who was running it, right? Is actually a Temporal subsidiary or company, funded by Temporal. I don't really know how to characterize this, but like there is a very, very tight association between Harmonic, Temporal, and Humidifi. Yeah,
it's built by Temporal.
Yeah. And so, you know, they've been absolutely murdering the prop AMM game, and they released their tokenomics for Wet. So this is what do you make of these tokenomics, man? It's like 10% for ICO and then 90% for team.
I actually don't mind, which is a very controversial take. I don't think it's a problem because it's not a meme coin, right? So if it's a meme, if it would be a meme coin with an Anon team and you don't have any idea who's running it and what it's doing and a lot of speculation, then this would be a super red flag, because the only thing I can trust is the tokenomics, right? And the smart contracts and things that are written in code. Here, I can trust the team. So if you choose to trust the team, that they have good intentions for Wet and Humidifi as a company, then let them have 90% supply control. Let them have, like, if you trust the team has good intentions for the token and they want their company to be valued, you know, higher than TG valuation, which is like around 70 mil, less than 70 million FTV, then trust them to do a good job, right? I'm a fan of supply control for companies that are trustworthy, that have a proven team of builders in the space that never rugged before, that have been around, that show up, that build good products, right? If you don't feel like you have the knowledge to make that call, then try to get it, right? If you don't know, who's building it, what's the team looking like, and so on, then don't invest, right? But if you gather enough information to make a fair judgment of, okay, I can trust Humidify, the team, and their intentions, then the supply control is totally fine for me, because ideally I trust them more to not dump than anyone else holding these tokens. On one more comment, the good thing is there's no investors, right? Like it's bootstrapped, right? So there's no VCs, there's no, like, I'd rather have the team 90% than the team 40 and then another 50 to private investors, because these guys are going to dump, right? But the team, maybe, but maybe not.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. When I first saw 90% team controlled supply, I was like very skeptical. I was kind of like, I don't know, man. Like, I mean, because like it's all like, let me tell you why I am okay with it, but it did take me a while to get there. Like, so okay, I agree with everything that you said. But there's the linchpin of your argument is that you have to trust the team. And so the reason why it took me so long to be okay with it is it took me a long time for me to feel like I could trust the team, right? And to be really clear, like, that's a huge ask. That's not a trivial ask to just be like,
I'm true.
Trust me, bro, for 90% of the token supply for Wet. Seems a little fucking nuts, actually, to be honest with you, just to be like, trust me, bro. But here's the two different signals that I have, and why I trust the team. Number one, is Jupiter is going balls out at the entire executive level to endorse the team. We're talking Meow, we're talking Cash, and we're talking Xiong. You and I know all three of these men personally, and I think that we trust their judgment. Like, there are certain things about working with a prop AMM. It's even when I was working at a prop AMM, like, we kept certain details very, very private, and we never raised for it, but like, we kept shit very, very private. And because you don't want to call too much attention to what you're doing, because you want your strategies to be more or less protected. But like, Jupiter's endorsement, and again, like, I think you and I both trust Jupiter's leadership very, very strongly. It means a lot to me, anyways. I don't know how much it means to other people, but like, Cash's endorsement, Xiong's endorsement, Meow's endorsement, they actually do mean a lot to me. So that's number one reason why I trust the team. And the number two reason why I trust the team is because they're so publicly attached to Temporal, and I just have a hard time believing that. I mean, I could be wrong here, but Temporal is going to nuke their reputation for like, a few $1 million, right? I just don't see it. If
it would
was
be
like
not consciously, it wouldn't be consciously. It would be malicious, right? Like, from the Wet side of things, from the Humidify side of things. Like, they would, like, they would all three have been made a wrong decision, basically. That's the only way it can go wrong inherently, if they all made together with the team behind them, obviously. Like, Xiong, Meow, and Cash are not the only smart cookies at Jupiter. Like, they're all very smart there. So they would all have to make a smart a wrong decision if this doesn't play out. So I think the sentiment right now on Twitter looks very spicy, because obviously, as always, the controversial views are proliferating through the noise. But I do think that 90% is actually bullish on this token.
And there's this exchange with Ben, who's actually leading not only Harmonic, but also you go to it says Shipping DeFi 2.0 Harmonic, but he's also behind Humidify, so he's working on a lot of things. I would like to give him a little shit, though, because this is a very reasonable question. Like, honestly, I'm wondering why you're just announcing that you're running. Like, he had this tweet that's saying, like, I am running Temporal XYZ. Sorry. I at Temporal XYZ and Kevin Pang are the creators and operators of Humidify. That's cool, right? But, very reasonable criticism. Like, why are you just announcing this like 8 hours before? Sort of weird. Please explain why you're so late. And he's like, the honest answer, we're just extremely busy. Super proud of what the team has shipped over the last year, though. And I I don't know. I'm not bullish on Ben's comms. Someone needs to talk to Ben because this is pretty embarrassing to be like,
Yeah.
okay, we're doing a major raise with Jupiter. It's going to be like the first token launch on their new DTF platform. And the reason why I didn't announce that I was associated with this project before is I was fucking busy.
Mm.
You stupid?
Yeah, I think it's just like, honestly, it's probably just like as you said, bad communications and locked in for other things. Didn't care about this, which is very important. Maybe someone from Jupiter or anyone pointed out to him that it might be a good idea to be a bit more transparent about what is Humidify and who's behind it. If the team has 90%, then show yourself. That might be a good idea. And then he was like, yeah, actually you got a point. And then 8 hours before TG is like, hey, I'm by the way the guy who's running the show here. It's a bit off, but it might be.
It's not just off. It's amateur
amateur,
hour,
yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
super amateur. And like I that doesn't mean that he's a bad person. I'm just saying that like if you're okay, what is Ben's incentive here, right? Like Ben's incentive is to maximize his TGE, right? And the way that you do that is building trust, right? Now, of course, Meow, Jupiter leadership team, great proxies for trust, in my personal opinion. But it's also kind of like you have a responsibility as the project owner to communicate, right? And you telling me that this guy doesn't have fucking people on staff that could write his tweets for him? I mean, you can't tell me that he was busy. What you can tell me is that he didn't think it was important enough. He didn't think, or maybe even worse, he thought that he could get away with not doing it at all because he didn't want to, which is a red flag for me, right? But then the second, I really love this thread because I feel like not enough people have seen this thread. Another Twitter user asked like, why raising funds? And he said the pools need more inventory for deeper quotes across more assets. I think that's plausible. A successful TGE would allow them to just get more capital to run their prop AMM strategies. And prop AMMs are a zero-sum game. If I win, you lose. And so the more Humidify gains an advantage, and it seems like they've sustained their advantage over 6 months. Very impressive. Then that gap is just, they're going to continue to crush the other prop AMMs with more capital, better strategies. Literally, they took away one of the lead engineers from another prop AMM, SoFi, and brought him into Temporal. This is what happens when your prop AMM dominates a space for 6 months. You start hiring away all the top talent from your competitors because you have more money, and you continue to, what do? Crush them even more.
Yeah. Yep. There's so much controversy going on. Like I don't know if you saw the article from Solana Floor, but there's also an article from Solana Floor out that the title.
Let me pull that up. Let me pull it up.
Yeah, okay, just give me a sec. The article's title is amazing. It's called Solana DeFi Users Torn Over Terrible Humidify Tokenomics. Aggressive unlocks and foundation heavy distribution. So that's definitely a nuanced take here, right? Like this is Solana Floor is very, at least the headline is very opinionated, right? Which you have to kind of, it reflects Twitter sentiment of a small group of people, right? Which is basically like here a few people that have been calling out the team and everything after insinuating that the prop MMS wouldn't turn its back on the trenches. Humidify distribution of wet tokens has doused the fire of enthusiasm spreading throughout DeFi, Solana DeFi. So yeah, a lot of people have called it, why are these tokenomics so bad? It's 2025. Like a lot of people have called them out for that. Also, the transparency here, like about the team, like a lot of people were asking, like who's actually behind that. With over 1,000 tweets, I'm looking forward to learning, like a lot of things that are still questions, that were open questions. But yeah, Temporal confirmed as team behind Humidify. So that's kind of, out now. But definitely, yeah, opinionated take here. I think probably a good read, but I think it's, a bit more colorful than this black and white thinking. Overall, I think there's potential for it. There's a few bull catalysts. Obviously, there's 23% float. After, like, there might be some sell pressure because the sale itself actually looks like this. if you want to pull that up, you can do it on the DTF of Jupiter, where you have wet public sale coming up next. I was asleep when my eligibility here was open, so I couldn't buy in. I would have, thrown in $200, no financial advice, because obviously the price here is lower than the price here, which is kind of a no-brainer. There was a wet list before that for people that are in the Humidifi leaderboard and community members. Not sure who was in there, but it was $2 million, then $1.5 million for Jup stakers. Again, 3.5 million are already closed with that, and now we have the public sale coming next with a total raise of 5.6 million USDC before TGE. That actually happens in a few days on the 9th of December, so it still takes a week until this thing actually goes live, publicly tradable with Meteora pools and so on, being live. What do we make of all this,
I mean, this is another thing that bothers me. Like, what is the wet list, right? It's wet list is, I mean, like, think about it. There are prop AM. Oh, there are some people who got into the wet list. Huh. Interesting.
Well,
How
why?
do
I mean,
people
2 million.
No, we literally have a user on the stream, Eno, right, or Eno.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at let's see, look at my screen over here. One of his tweets, and he's saying, I mean, he was clearly on the wet list. So I was about to talk some shit and say that the wet list was probably just like Humidifi employees. But I am genuinely curious. I don't know if you're still on the stream. How did you get into the wet list? Not because like I wanted to be there or anything. I'm just genuinely curious. Like it wasn't transparent to me like how you could get onto the wet list, and so I just kind of interpreted it as, just insider allocation.
Yeah. I mean, just keep in mind as well that no one was able to buy into this outside of this, right? So wetlist could also be some sort of like considered like almost a private sale, right? Where they at least have a little bit of control who to let in. It does make sense, like I understand. And also the price is not different from Jup stakers, so that's good. And the jump to public is not huge. And so that's also all right. Like they don't get a super big competitive advantage here. And they are all unlocked at the same time as well, which is all right. So, like there are no VCs, no investors, no one can invest outside of this here right now. They all have to go to DTF. So that is also, some people might ask, okay, 2 million, how did they close that so quickly? Probably there were like a few people that they are already committed, right? Like they already knew they're going to invest. They sent them here and they tell them, okay, chip in here, do it here. So yeah, like the wet list is just an exclusive phase 1. Yeah, and I think there was a priority for people that made it into a November 11 snapshot, as it seems like. It's merit based for loyal users, community. Yeah, you need to have proof basically that you have some skin in the game, but obviously I'm pretty sure they can put people on the leaderboard.
I mean, Will is saying it right now. It's core supporters got for a Discord role. So it's like active participation.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Okay, interesting. I mean, one financial disclosure, my family has a position in WET. So you might be a little confused. How is it that my family has a position in WET, but I'm also quite critical? It's because I have a brain. So I mean, I am very bullish on anything that Cash and Meow and Xiong recommend. But like also like there's plenty of things about this that I find to be very stupid, including the comms from Ben. And they could have done that a lot better. The supply is also a bit questionable. So we shall see, how this all plays out. This is going to be super interesting. And actually, to pull up one other thing, the Jup stakers, when my family and I were getting this allocation, I watched it. It was, it was over in like a minute and 15, 18 seconds. It was super quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Damn. Yeah. Okay. I mean, yeah, it's valuable. The demand is there. Money's there right now in the market as well. We have $150 million going on MetaDAO launches these days. Like there's money in the ecosystem. This shit is going to be on Coinbase at TGE. So there's also multi-billion-dollar potential volume flying in from centralized exchanges, besides being on what's it called, Meteor as well, obviously. with the Meteora army behind it. So Jupiter Cabal behind it as well. It looks fairly good, right? Let's see if it's going to be a I don't think it's going to be a 0-0 scenario, obviously, because we're not launching at a high FTV, and that's maybe the last piece of bullish things and positive things about all this, is that the FTV is really fairly low for what we're looking at, right? Like you could launch this at 1 billion. You could probably launch, like, I'm serious. You could launch this at 1 billion and you would still find buyers. This is crypto, guys. Like, people are fucking nuts. And they decided to do it at 67, like below
69.
70. 69. Yeah, perfect. And love it. You gotta be here for it.
Can you believe that we're launching like tokens just on me? No, I mean, like, but how? Like, what the fuck? It's like, what sophisticated financial model did you use, Simon, to determine a $69 million float? It's not like because 69. You know what I'm saying?
Because 69. Okay. I'm gonna launch it on DTF. What does DTF stand for again? What is this? Down to fuck. Yeah, right. So that's the So it's like, yeah, thanks, Jupiter. You guys are fucking legends. So yeah, you gotta love this space. Like,
oh no, excuse me, I'm sorry. It's decentralized token formation. Okay, yeah, sure. All right.
Sure. Yeah. But we all know what it stands for, really.
Yeah. Like, no, decentralized token formation as $69 million FTV.
Wink.
Okay. Wink.
Anyway. Okay, we gotta close this soon, so let's do a very important announcement here at the end. If you are right now still with us or tuned in later to the live stream, or you're watching this on YouTube, then let me tell you, it's good that you're still here, because now we have two very big things coming out of the Solflare ecosystem. Number one, we do have the card. The card is out. You can get your Solflare card finally, and you can, if you're on the waitlist or if you did the KYC already, you can just click a button in the app, get the card. So that is fairly bullish. With the card, you can also spend directly from your Solflare wallet. And while you're spending, you are accumulating points. And that is the bullish thing I wanted to announce here. These points will help you to join a campaign that might lead to some really big rewards, because I don't know how it's going to turn out really, but if we spend enough money here, if we spend enough together as a community, I'm sorry, give me a second. Sorry, I just got a bit of coffee back up, but it's down again. So if you are able to spend enough as a community, as a whole, with the Solflare cards, we're unlocking milestones together. And these milestones will bring us to the big win at the end of the road, which is, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Porsche GT3. And that is basically the next step of the campaign that is right now happening. With it's called phase 3. You can actually pull up my screen if you want. We can see the road to rewards here. So basically, right now we're the Vespa. Every slot starts with a spark. Don't blink. There's a total volume spent. Everyone adds to the same progress bar. When the clock runs out, the milestones you reach become the final reward. So basically, we all have to fucking, buy a lot of things. And then we might get, I don't know what this is. Like, there might be some sort of kind of golf in here. There might be BMWs. There might be, this is very obvious what this is. And then we have the Porsche. The crown jewel, this one doesn't follow, it leads. I love it. So this goes until the 14th of February. So let's together spend some money and make some money, hopefully, before that. So I hope we get a little bit more of Solana pump going on to then be able to reach the milestone number 6. And then I think someone is going to win the Porsche, if I'm not mistaken. Bullish.
Yeah, dude, I'm not going to lie. That's actually probably one of the coolest campaigns that I've seen. It feels like a professional campaign that you would see from a normal brand outside of crypto. It's executed.
Very sophisticated.
Yeah, I'm not impressed very often because most of the marketing in this space is total dog shit. But like Solflare's marketing and the campaign for like spend to, get entries to get vehicles is, I mean, that's fucking sick, man.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So that is cast, ladies and gentlemen, be careful. Solflare's here now. We might see some people moving their funds over to the Solflare wallets. What else do we got from Solflare?
I don't know. It's just like this
And we don't
this
know yet,
teaser
yeah.
video. Yeah, I mean, it's this teaser video, and the tweet just said tomorrow. So it looks like I'm seeing a picture of ice or something like that. I'm not entirely sure what's going on over here. But yeah, it looks like there's going to be a big announcement. So just stay tuned for tomorrow, Simon. Well, I guess we'll see what it is. You got any?
It is
Can
today.
you spoil anything?
I think it's today, honestly.
Okay. Well, I hope that
yeah.
I figure out what it is soon.
Yep. I mean, all we can do right now is we can ask our friends from Software if they have some additional details. But so far, right now, we don't know yet. But what we know, is that there has been a new thing coming out of the flash trade ecosystem. Maybe actually that's the, or do you want to do the other one first?
No. It's okay. It's okay.
Okay,
Let's
so
go.
I
Let's
just
go.
saw you. Okay, there's a new thing coming out of the flash trade ecosystem, which is fucking bullish because it's the first time that we can now spend our money on leveraged stock positions purely on chain. I haven't seen it on Solana yet. It's the first time on Solana, as you can see in this beautiful video. And we make it happen together with Step Finance Group and Remora Markets, who are tokenizing stocks like NVIDIA, like MicroStrategy, like Tesla, and so on. So you have a few selected positions here. What are you? Circle, S&P 500, MicroStrategy, Tesla. And you can trade these things on flash trade up to 10x leverage right now. You can lock in with the software right now to flash trade, open a position of $1,000 with 5x. So you have a 5,000 position on whatever the fuck you want to trade. And it's a stock. It is. I don't even know how to trade these things right now without flash trade. I wouldn't know, like, I don't have a bank account where I can do that. Oh, I can use Revolut. Fair. Okay, so I have access to this, but I cannot leverage trade on Revolut, right? There's I don't know where to. I would have to open some weird broker, and it's so complicated. This is actually much more easier for me right now. Crypto is easier to leverage trade stocks than TradFi. It's the first time in history that something is easier in crypto than in the traditional world. Normally, it has been always fucking complicated to do shit here. No one understands it, but I think we're getting there now. We're getting there. This is really cool.
I am laughing my ass off at the idea of getting 10x leverage on MicroStrategy, which itself is already a leverage play on Bitcoin. Like that would be the most base thing. And I think Michael Saylor like bought like all this FUD on MicroStrategy because it's like leverage Bitcoin play, right? And when Bitcoin was dipping, people were like, "See, boo, death of Bitcoin." I was even reading a New York Times article this morning that kind of pissed me off. That was all like, people said that Bitcoin prices were going to stay high forever, and then they just dropped. And immediately after they did that, the market pumped. I'm like, thank you, New York Times. You guys fucking suck.
Oh, bro, I hate these titles from these traditional outlets. Like,
it's so annoying. It's so annoying.
Attention grab.
Like, I mean, like, yes, it's a volatile market, but it's just like that every single time it dips, they're always just like, haha, I told you so. I'm like, well, I mean, last time I checked, we're on our way back to 100,000, baby. Not financial advice.
I mean, let's be real as well, right? Like, MicroStrategy is either trading at a discount or at a premium to BTC, right? Because it holds Bitcoins, and these Bitcoins, they have worth, and these inherent that intrinsic worth is the worth of MicroStrategy, right? So if you hold right now above $60 billion worth of Bitcoin, which is currently the case, like above $60 billion worth of Bitcoin, you can compare that to the value of the company. And I think right now we're at a slight premium, if I'm not mistaken. So the market cap of the Bitcoin of MicroStrategy, if you look at the market cap, it is a little bit higher than the worth. Or actually, so the market cap right now, strategy trades at 188 per share. That is,
I thought it was lower.
Billion. Yeah, 53. So it's about 50 billion market cap right now. But the Bitcoin it's holding, it is sitting at $60 billion, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the funniest thing is that instead of selling Bitcoin to buy back the stock, he just bought more Bitcoin. Like $1 million.
Yeah.
It was something like $11 million more. It wasn't all that much, but like just like kind of it's a statement. It's all like, oh, you're saying that my MNAV is not MNAVing? Well, fuck you. I'm gonna buy more Bitcoin.
Yeah, just give me some time. Yeah, really, like this guy is just like, it's really bold, but if you have conviction, if you believe in something, then just fucking do it. And I think it's probably genius. It's either genius or stupid as fuck, right? But I think I'm leaning more towards genius. on this whole move here. So let's see how it goes for MicroStrategy in 2026. But I'm fairly bullish on it. But now you can trade it on leverage on flash trade if you are bullish on and you want to trade the discount basically, right? Why not?
We should open up a 10x leverage position on MicroStrategy since it's like trading under MNAV right now.
Yeah.
And then just as like a, and like we never sell either. It's just kind of like there. We just check on our MicroStrategy position. And it's like 10x leverage.
Sure. Yeah. Why not?
Anyway,
last but not least, what else we got? What else we got here?
So we covered this really funky wallet called Unruggable that does not have a screen and just buttons. So there's an app that
hardware wallet.
Yeah, it's a hardware wallet, but it has an app that it interacts with, and then you can like double press buttons to sign. So SNS, our friends there have already spoken with the Unruggable team, and now you can send to your .sol domain directly to an Unruggable wallet. So that's actually really sick.
Cool. Of course, integrations. SNS is always on the front when it comes to integrating shit. So Unruggable still not there yet. They're going to launch next year, the actual wallet. But SNS support .sol is going to be built in. And with that being said, ladies and gents, and everyone in between, that's a wrap. We covered it all. Make sure to look out for getting wet if you want to, because there's a public sale coming up later today in a few hours. So if you want, then you can take part in it. If you are bearish, then stay bearish and don't take part in it. I think there's a good case for both sides here. That is our TLDR. There's some good things about it. There's some bad things about it. And we all have our nuanced takes. I think the Sol brothers are more leaning towards a bullish case right now than a bearish case. But obviously, we are not giving any financial advice for you because we don't know shit. We're just two humble dudes trying to fucking survive, make some money here, and entertain the people with big bullish Solana news.
I just got one really special thing to say. We just finished our 69th episode.
Perfect timing, bro. That's perfect timing as well, bro. Like that's the valuation of wet, bro. Like we're fucking wet today.
I'm ready to get wet.
Okay, we said this so often today. Like, Kevin, you can just clip it all together.
Wet.
Yeah, to show people how wet we are. That's the last one you can clip. But yeah, we appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in to the Sol Brothers pod today. We're going to see you again next week when it's time to the last episode before Breakpoint, actually. Probably. And you shall follow us on YouTube at Sol Brothers Pod. Please click the subscribe button. It is very valuable for us to see that people care about what we do here. And you support the podcast by simply subscribing, liking, maybe leaving a comment. That is not a bot, but an actual human. I would really appreciate to see that on YouTube. We will see you at the next one. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a good week. Stay safe out there and make sure to get wet. No financial advice. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, and cut.
Good. 1 hour, 20 minutes. It was a bit longer than usual, but also really good. Covered a lot, I think, so.
Yeah. Thanks to, obviously, Baptiste, ça va, mon ami? BM, we love you, BM. And Will, also love you. Porsche 911, GT3, you got me, I'm in. Man, aren't you supposed to be shilling Jupiter Wallet? The fuck are you doing?
Yeah, wait, he actually said something smart for once. Tokenomics are not 90% team only because 10% hits the market. The rest is locked up, and more details on the. So I'm bullish on not giving supply to the market since it's not a meme coin. I hope that's pretty much what I said, right? So,
No. It's still 90. No, we're not saying that 90% is gonna hit the market. We're saying that 90% is controlled by the team. That is accurate.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but sure, whatever.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the rest is locked up, and more details on that soon from Humidifi. Yeah. Okay.
No, but see, even that pisses me the fuck off because they're like, more details soon.
Well,
it's like, dude, your TGE is in 5 days. What do you mean more information? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, what the fuck, guys? Get your shit together.
Shots fired. Don't cry, Will. It's okay. We got you, bro. We got you. We love you. Yeah. No, I agree. No, you're right. Cool. Going to the comments here. Shout out to Cyber as well, who's always with us. GM.
Benjamin.
Benjamin in the back. Sumptuous. G-Wet. Thanks for tuning in as well. Crypto Terminator Musk has been here as well. Shooting 5,000 comments at the beginning of the stream. Thank you, bro. But yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in the live stream. I'm gonna get some shit done here. Still need to finish my pitch slides. Today's the last day for my Solana ID pitch at Breakpoint. So wish me luck, and
Go kill it.
I'll see you guys. I'll catch you later, alligator. Thanks for tuning into the live stream. Bye, everyone.
Adios.